Hey everybody, I'm Zee Garcia, and today I'm taking a look at a simple and clean deduction game called Cryptid. In this game, all the players are looking for a monster's dwelling, but they are not cooperating. In fact, every one of the players at the table is going to have a piece of information about where the monster might live that the other players do not know. And throughout the game, they are going to attempt to discover where that monster might live, and finally, make a guess as to where it does indeed live and try to win the game that way. Once you find it, you win the whole thing. So, as I said, it's a very simple game. There's very few components, and it's a straightforward idea, but one that's really very cleverly implemented. Let's go ahead and take a look at the game. I'm going to give you an overview of how it all works together. Then we'll come on back up here, and I'll tell you what I think of it. To set up the game, you are going to, first of all, pick a card to help you set up the board. You can use one of these white-edged ones for a simpler version, or the ones with the black edges for an advanced play mode. I've already got one here. This is going to tell you how to set up the board, the order in which to put these specific boards here, and where these figures might go. You've got the pillars and the abandoned campsites here. So once that's all set up, you would take this card, you would flip it over, and the players, according to the number of players, are going to grab one of the included booklets and take a look at the numbered clue as shown on this card here. So for example, one of the players might choose this column here, let's say 3 players. They'll take a look at this book specifically, and they will read clue 78 as denoted on the card here. So let's take a look. This player would not share this information, by the way. 78 says, "Not within one space of forest." And so now they have limited information as to where the creature we are all searching for might be, all right? Well, not within one of a forest simply means, let's say that was the yellow player, that it cannot be anywhere in the forest or even one space away from said forest. So it could be here, but it could not be, let's say, there, because that's one within the forest. Nor could it be there, but it could be there. And again, not here, within one from that forest. As you'll see, I'm using the discs as yeses and the cubes as no's. That's what the game will do as well for all of the players. And by the way, if when you are setting up the game you'd rather not use the cards here, you can instead use an app that will tell you how to set up the game. It will randomize the board for you. It will tell the players their clues, and then you can put that device away and just play the rest of the game without its assistance, checking it only if you need to remember what your clue was. So again, each player would have a secret clue as to where this creature might be or might not be, and then you are ready to begin. So the players are going to, before we do anything else, take 2 of their cubes and going around the board twice, go ahead and pick a location where the creature could not possibly be according to their own rule. So this player over here, for example, might place it, let's say, there. And then the purple player would go and they would go there, and the yellow player, as we know, says it cannot possibly be in the forest or next to it, so the purple player, the yellow player might go there. Back to blue. Blue is going to go here, all the way in the corner down there. Then purple's going to go there. And yellow, once again, will go here. Again, could not possibly be one from forest. And now you're ready to begin. So on your turn, you are going to be able to do one of 2 things. You can question another player, or you can search a spot on the board. We're going to start with the blue player here. If you want to question someone else, you'll take the pawn, you'll place it somewhere on the board, and you will direct your question at someone else. The question is very simple. Could the creature possibly be here? And that player will mark that spot either with a cube, meaning no, it cannot possibly be here, or one of their discs saying, yep, it could be there. And that's your turn. The other option is searching a location. If you search a location, you will go ahead and place it somewhere. You would add one of your discs saying, yep, it could be there. And then the players will in turn go ahead and add their own to that same spot. If everyone says yes, by the way, you've just won the game. That's where the creature is. If even one player says no, then you will stop the other players will not need to answer after that player. And whenever any other player puts out a cube, you will do so as well. That's for either one of the two actions. So, backing up to the beginning of our example, blue player wants to question the purple player, and they will say, okay, could the creature be there, purple player? Purple player will say, nope, it could not be. Okay, I made you put out a cube, I will put out a cube, and I could put it anywhere. So blue is going to place their cube there. And now it would be the next player's turn to, again, question or search. They are going to question, and they are going to put this cube here, or the pawn rather, and that player will ask the yellow player, could it be there? Indeed it could. And while we know what that clue is not within 1 from the forest, hey, that qualifies. And so, having done that, since a cube was not put out, purple does not need to put one out themselves. They did not give away too much information. And this will continue until someone chooses to search a location, and in fact, every answer there would be a yes, letting you know that is the answer for the game. If you ever want to find a location, so you're doing a search for the answer, and your disc is already there, so let's say on yellow's next turn, for some reason they want to search that location, they're feeling confident, they would put out the pawn there, but since there already is a disc there, they have to put one somewhere, all right? So they will go ahead and put one, there. And once again, the players will go around the table saying yes or no. In this case, the blue player here would say that no, it cannot. Yellow has to put one out. Yellow's going to put it there. And the purple player does not even have to answer because we got a no already. That's everything there is to it. And that is Cryptid, so let's talk about it. Okay, I'm going to start with thematic ties. Is the theme original, and is it well implemented? I like this theme. I think it's a neat idea, this concept of looking for monster. But the gameplay itself, and especially sort of the look of everything when you take it hand in hand with the theme, isn't really going to be there. The game is going to feel in many ways like an abstract exercise in deduction. So while I like the theme, I can't really say that it feels particularly well implemented. However, the look of the game, and let's go ahead and talk about aesthetics now, the component quality and the look of everything, I do enjoy. I think it fits the design concept overall, and that is very clean, nothing extra, nothing that could be removed. This is a game that has the bare essentials to work, and that's a good design philosophy in my opinion. The look of the game reflects that. It's all very simple and straightforward. Again, not great for the theme at hand here, and in fact, I think the cover is considerably more evocative than the gameplay itself, though that has its own interests and challenges. But I do like the aesthetics in the game. Everything is well made. And there's also that app, too, by the way, that does work, and it's a neat idea. Replayability. Does the game scale well? And does it keep you coming back to the table? You know, I think it does. I think there are there's a lot of those cards, for one thing, and the app will supplement that. But also, after you've played this game once, I would not be as surprised if you wanted to immediately play it again. For one thing, it's very quick, and I'll talk about that in just one sec, but it has a certain charm to it, discovering this information, finding the one spot on the board that is the right answer, and trying to deduce what everyone else is hiding, where they could or could not say yes, the different possibilities, the different permutations. There's a lot of replay value here, and I like that very much. So replay value is high. Game length, as I said, is very short. It does stay interesting the whole time, and you will sometimes even very quickly get to the answer. Now, as the players play the game more and more, you'll start getting a little trickier. You know, you'll start doing things to throw the other players off your scent in not just obvious and apparent ways, but in sneaky ways, you know, making guesses for the answer at places that perhaps you already know about, you know, or maybe even, asking for clues that aren't necessarily helpful, but will throw people off what you've been thinking or what you are hiding. So there is that. But it's still a quick game. It's a short, punchy game, and I like that very much. Ease of play. Fiddly, extraneous rules, anything like that. Does this feel like it could do with some things being removed? And as I said earlier, it does not. This game is the absolute bare essentials, and it just hums. It's exactly what it needs to be, and not an ounce of extra design on top of that. That is impressive, and I'm certain the temptation is there to take this idea and then continue to grow it, but it simply did not happen. So fantastic job there, and kudos to the designers for that one. Lastly, tactics and strategy. Is there luck? Are there interesting choices throughout the game? Does it keep your brain engaged? And I have to say, I think it does. The deduction is just one of those mechanisms that is, or game styles, let's call it, that is woefully underrepresented out there. So it's beautiful to see a new game to tackle that idea. But the way this game does it is also really captivating. This concept of knowing a piece of the puzzle and trying to ferret out from the other players what the rest of the answer might be, while of course working against giving them information. That's neat, and where you can guess the things you start putting together, where you put that pawn and ask someone for information, that's all equally information for them. Maybe, right? Unless you start getting tricky. I love those kinds of moves in the game. So, yes, the strategy is there, and there's a lot of reacting to what's going on as you start building that picture in your head. So overall, I really like Cryptid. It makes me think a little bit of an older design called Tobago that is much like this, in which the players are putting together the answer to a puzzle of where treasure might be buried. But in this one, there is an answer. At the beginning of the game, there is an answer. There is a space out there that is the correct dwelling of this creature. In Tobago, you were making it up as you went. So eventually there would be an answer, but it was not decided at the beginning of the game. This is much more puzzle-like in some ways. It's much more about deduction, not about reducing, locations where something might appear. And it's a fascinating concept. I really enjoy it. If you're a fan of deduction games, if you're okay with a game feeling abstract for the sake of a punchy, sharp, and very clean play experience, then I think you're going to like it as well. Cryptid is just a fantastic design, one that packs a lot of wallop into this fairly small box, and therefore it's going to get a seal of excellence from me. Really good stuff. Certainly would recommend you look into it if you're looking for something a little bit different and just fresh feeling. Cryptid is going to be for you. All right, folks, that's it for me. I'm Zee Garcia. I'm going to see you on the next one.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com.